Ascension messages. Questions and answers. Rapture, manipulation and deception part 1.
Question. The problem with this Earth game is that I see fear and panic amongst the masses that don't know that they are in the game.
Answer. We understand the despair and fear from within the 3D game, however some do not want to stop playing this game and are in a loop mode, reincarnating over and over again, and they forget that it is only a game. These souls need reminders, and for those who die they are just exiting the game. It is only tragic from within 3D, 5D is also a Matrix game, that is just another level of the same game. It is the role that the ETs fulfill on the starships in Earth's orbit, however they all go in and out of Earth using immersion pods or the like, at will. All of the ETs on the ships are one way or another involved with what is going on Earth. Fear is nothing more than separation from the source, produced by the game itself, to fulfill a purpose, that is, to capture an experience.
Question. Is there still fear outside of 3D?
Answer. 5D is also a game, and there is some fear as there is still a level of separation. There is still fear of death in 5D, even though you may have memory of several lives and an awareness of being eternal, although you know this in 5D on an intellectual level. However, you are mentally conditioned to fear death, but you also know this is only your body and that it is not you. There is still a component of ego in 5D to prevent the avatar from knowing it is just a game, and not real while having the experience. This keeps the avatar in the game, believing it is all real.
Question. There are some awakened ones in the game, who want something much different than what the Federation is giving, that they say the masses want. So what about what the awakened ones want? To be more awake and still play the game with no forced injections, this is hardly because it is what they want?
Answer. From the point of view that is strictly localized to this timeline, this is not happening, however other things do with multiple variations in between. Progressively, it is becoming more and more difficult to interpret these timelines, due to the changing flux of fear. So it is difficult to establish a clear linearity in any timeline, as there is no clear objective reality.
Question. With so much flux and confusion with so many changing timelines, with all the complications here and from above, is there a timeline which the Federation feels that it should close the school itself, switch off the game, and perhaps start it again with more clarity and direction, without the vaccines and inserted chips?
Answer. Yes, this is a possibility, however, the Federation say the vaccines and chips are what humanity want.
Question. I understand, however, what about what the more awakened ones want? By the same token, their wants and desires must also be important.
Answer. This is on one level only, you cannot give everything to everyone that are on opposite terms. So they give what is asked for by the collective, and what the awakened ones do want will be given to them on another level, according to them. Nothing is ever ethical as seen only from one density or plane, especially when there is conflict of interest. The only ethical thing in this case could be to do nothing, not even intervene, and this is what most of the truly advanced races do.
Question. Speaking for myself and perhaps many other awakened ones, we do not want to wait and only experience our needs on another density and another timeline. We incarnated to awaken and when appropriate, ascend physically.
Answer. The Federation are in conflict as to what the humans want, or at least the majority want. Humans are not moving into integration and the Federation do not really understand the asleep ones, who in turn do not understand the awakened ones. The awakened ones wish to wake up the asleep ones, because they think this is the right thing to do. However, the asleep ones mock the awakened ones, because they want to return to normality, because they also see it as the right thing to do. That is why there is no objective reality, as mentioned above. There are many waking up, however, for many this is too late, your situation will not change by magic. Rather, by a chain of events toward the positive, the spiritual information that is being given to humanity will be especially useful to the awakened ones, who will fight against the system without taking vaccines. The vaccinated ones will lack their own thought, this has been seen before in the story of Adam and Eve. In the garden, Eve passes the forbidden fruit to Adam. The fruit is the knowledge. The knowledge refers to the awakening of consciousness, after the fall into forgetfulness when stepping down from 5D to 3D. Awakening to the fact that they are exploited and manipulated and controlled, in other words, the same spiritual awakening that is happening today on Earth. So now, as it was then, they have to be controlled, subdued and stopped from learning or realizing what is really happening. Adam eventually woke up. The Adams were a race of beings and not a single man, and today history is repeating itself. That is why this civilization must be destroyed, because the star seeds are escaping. They must be returned to the flock of asleep sheep. What is happening now is the same. This is why it is not important to talk about what you already know, about the deception and the personalities that are seen and not seen on Earth orchestrating the events. What is important to do is to bring information that you do not know, so that you can raise your awareness and frequency on Earth at these times. So that humans can change the course of what is happening now, onto a timeline of what they do want.
Question. How do the memory implants fit into this information?
Answer. They base themselves on what they perceive of the true needs of the human race, their desires, and from another point of view, they lead them like sheep. That is why if they wake up they cannot guide them, and that does not suit either the Cabal or the Federation. This direction is to give what they truly think humans really want. There are no real parameters to guide this situation to what it should be. It is because it has always been this way, that the Federation just continues doing what it has always done.
Question. How does the Federation really know what each human wants?
Answer. The Federation does have a record of their statements and data on what they want to receive for what each person wants. However, the problem is that what each person wants is often different in 3D than in 5D, and this may not really reflect what they need from higher densities. What the Federation give to the awakened ones, according to them, is the experience of waking up and fighting the deception as a life plan. This is clear and well documented at a 5D level.
Question. Many of the awakened ones do not want to fight anymore. They want something much better. They want Ascension.
Answer. From a 5D level and higher, what happens at a 3D human level is contained and has a more simplistic understanding. It is just a game that humans take very seriously once inside the 3D matrix. This understanding is heard everywhere in 5D, and it has also been exposed by many spiritual activists, when exploring the human subconscious mind while under deep hypnotic regression. This may seem incomprehensible to most humans, however, it is what is happening now. This is how it looks from 5D, the awakened humans fighting the asleep ones that are waiting to be vaccinated and chipped, and that all of this is being taken too seriously by the awakened ones inside the game, and it is taking things too seriously, that is causing the suffering.
Question. The problem from down here is that it is real, and the experience causes the suffering.
Answer. The Federation only see things on Earth at a human level as a game, and as stated above, from a higher level 7D and above, 3D and 5D are seen as one of the same thing. It is all just a game. This is why they do not intervene, because of the very unreal nature of the game. In your past, many people that have been taken out of the game have complained about the interference, as they wanted to continue with the experience, even though they were being tortured or crawling in mud and corpses on battlefields, close to death with injuries. While some were removed by physical extraction, others left by after physical death, both alike complained because they wanted the experience and did not want the intervention as it ruined their game, and the experience that they were looking for. All of these people were suffering at the point of intervention, so the Federation effectively have their hands tied from the requests of the humans inside the 3D game while below. Remember, most people on Earth today have had several incarnations there. After which they leave Earth, either after death or by other means, and return with many complaining about the help the Federation are giving. The 5D Federation is monitoring and supervising the game. So, the request of humans even in the middle of a world war wanting out, are met with having confusion of awareness from the perspective consciousness of 3D and that of 5D. From this point of view, outside Earth interests and values change and the way of interpreting things change. It is because the consciousness expands beyond 3D that things are seen differently, in a more expanded way, that leads to another interpretation of the event experience. This includes suffering.
Question. Here I am only talking about the awakened ones and what they want. I understand that those who are unawakened and wish not to awaken, that we should respect their wishes.
Answer. The awakened ones are given the experience, first because that is what they want, and when they are no longer compatible with this frequency of Earth, they have the choice to leave and go to another planet that they will be more compatible with. Earth is just a school for extreme experiences. You are only here because you chose this experience. No one forced you to come, you came by your own free will. It is true that some star seeds have trapped themselves into a repetitive cycle, incarnating over and over again. However, that is also why you are here, to either free yourselves or assist in freeing others.
Question. Imposing vaccines and chips onto the awakened ones is an imposition and is an act against their free will.
Answer. The star seeds are given the experience first. They then can choose to leave if they are no longer compatible with the experience. The awakened ones in this case do not value this experience. This is why it is called the Rapture, an experience that you are no longer compatible with. On Earth today, there are many humans that are partially awake and are happy with their chosen life. Also, there are many who require another more uplifted experience, and this is why the Earth is split into two, the Rapture. This situation is more complicated with temporal disturbances and broken timelines. There is at least one timeline per person, and this is not counting their own multiple timelines from the beginning of these individual timelines. The agreements are born in experience. It is from the 5D level that you have all of the data you require for the experience.
Question. If you can't be forced into an experience against your free will, then surely, you can't be forced with a vaccine and chip against your free will?
Answer. It is the reason for these messages and videos that help people make up their minds regarding what they want for themselves. From one perspective, the Federation is breaking the universal laws, and from another, they are not. However, with all of this madness on Earth, it can also be seen as a test for humanity that borders on the surreal. There is such a lot more data now on Earth that many ignore, such as wearing masks, social distancing, home detention, etc. This is where the consciousness of the masses places its lack of awareness within, and this becomes the group conscious frequency. If people refused the mask, they would have less problems and the control would change. However, they do not, so it will continue because you are not saying no, you are actually giving your permission, and by default you are saying yes. A handful of people are not enough. However, if 80% said no, there is no authority that could force them to wear masks, vaccines or anything else. We understand that a single person will not be able to stop this imposition at a 3D level. However, as a collective, you can stop this imposition. The problem is that the Federation only looks at this from the collective perspective and not at an individual perspective. In a holographic society, importance is given to the individual, because different rules apply here. However, in 3D Earth the importance is given to the collective, so on Earth, the individual becomes programmed from the collective consciousness, that is, the school operates on Earth. In contrast, in 5D Pleiades, importance is given to the individual and society is formed from these collective agreements. However, there are some problems and some serious ones. It is far from a perfect society.
Question. I still see there is a serious problem, being forced through impositions to shut down our consciousness, with chemical and electromagnetic technology, to forget who we are against our will as an awakened star seed.
Answer. From the Federation point of view, what is happening on Earth is minimal, and what many humans wish to experience is the great struggle against that, while others will leave en masse. The human condition is only applicable on Earth once inside the 3D matrix. Humanity is not a race, it is a game, an experiment in a controlled environment. There is no one to liberate. On Earth there are only star seeds and biological vessels that are programs, in the matrix, so that the starseeds masquerading as humans can play the game.
There is no one to liberate, there is no one there on Earth. This is what we have been trying to tell you.
All starseeds are 5D or above, most in pods experiencing the game, being human beings struggling in life, one way or another, for the experience. As starseeds, you have all entered the game, like entering or engaging into a video game, just for the experience.
The Federation and others know that it is all only a game. A game at a nightmare level.
Question. So why are you here? Why are you concerned as we are? Why are you going against what the Federation want, and from what other 5D starseeds want?
Answer. Because some of these starseeds are just in a program, and it is not easy for them to get out of the game. This is an individual's choice as an experience to know what it feels like, to know clearly, making the experience more interesting, so that you cannot escape before you really know what it feels like. I understand the feelings of despair. I have had many incarnations and know this despair from inside the Matrix. Those that die, just exit the game. It is only tragic from within 3D.
5D is also just a game, just another level of the same game.
As spoken of before, this is the role of all ETs in the starships from above, both Federation and non-Federation.
All are involved, one way or another on Earth.
To be human is to have certain filters that only allow you to see limited realities. As awakened starseeds, you require a future that is opposite to what the asleep humans want.
The Federation is giving humans what they think they want from the mentality of being victims.
The Federation only oversees to ensure that this principle is given and respected. It is the work of humans themselves, to solve their own problems and generate a world that they collectively want it to be. And you can only get there by experiencing what you do not want, through contrast.
Question. Everyone should want this, freedom in all areas of their lives?
Answer. This is the perception of someone who is awake, however the majority of the population still want their 3D reality with what they see as superficial problems, such as corruption in governments, the lack of employment, or the escalating rate of inflation, these being the only real problems that they need to address. The 5D Federation is becoming more aware of what the starseeds want, so are the many non-Federation 5D races that are also here observing what is happening on Earth. The wishes of the 3D starseeds reach beyond the 5D Federation, and with this, these realities can manifest.
Focus is required on what you really want.
Remember, hold the highest idea of who you think you are, and live that every moment of every day. Focus on an Earth that exists in the highest reality that you think could exist. This is what you manifest with your creative intention awareness. Humans are waking up en masse, and it is only through conscious intention awareness that things will change for you. Tawana, Tawa, adventure with joy, with all its multiple meanings.